Hello, my name is Henry Shiu, and I was appointed as a Shiu professor in Chinese Buddhist Studies at Emmanuel College. The professorship provides me with a great opportunity to approach Buddhism through the lens of the latest research in academic studies, while also honor the lived experiences of Buddhist practice across the many denominations of the religion. My appointment began in July 2020. As you may tell, I began my position at the most unusual time when the world was taking the hardest hit by the pandemic. Actually, I still haven't set foot in the college since then. All faculty meetings, classes, and chapel gatherings were taking place over Zoom. I was asked to share my thoughts on the challenges that my students and I have faced during the pandemic. But instead of going into specific details about the surprises that I have encountered, I would like to go for a different direction in sharing my thoughts around this by taking us into a broader discussion. And let me invite you to contemplate on this particular image first. So it is a face mask with the name of our university on it. Okay, so in this example, of course, the name University of Toronto reminds us of our community. But if we look further, we can also see a lot more than what meets our eyes. For example, when I look at the image, I was reminded of the different cultural practices on the use of masks. Around this time last year, in March, when the pandemic was first realized to be a real threat to the Canadians, the information shared around that time by the government officials was that the use of face masks was rather ineffective in preventing the virus. Okay? And the understanding was that only those who are sick should wear the face masks. And it was also around that same time when there were a lot of criticisms on the Asians wearing masks. I remember that I received a text message from a friend who humorously suggested that Asians are more comfortable wearing masks because it is an image already deeply ingrained in our culture. And he shared this image with me. The image suggests that even the vigilantes would choose to cover up their faces differently in the East and in the West. I found that amusing, but at the same time, of course, the joke aside, such cultural differences in the practice of mask wearing had unfortunately led to many hate crimes during the pandemic, when the Asian Canadians and Asian Americans wearing masks were being attacked. With the medical professionals claiming the inefficiency of the face masks, those who wear one were immediately seen as sick, selfish, gullible, or even paranoid. Okay, and therefore unfairly stigmatizing the Asians in many negative ways. Of course, within months, health officials highly recommended the use of face masks to help curb the spread of virus. And still later on, it was made mandatory. But what happened as a result of this change of understanding was that there was a sudden surge of the demand of face masks, which led to stockpiling and price gouging, resulting in the shortage of supply and leaving many medical staff and sick patients at risk. So through a reflection of our perception of the use of face mask, we can examine the source of what the Buddhists called the three poisons. The first is hatred, which in our example here is manifested through hate crimes. The second is ignorance, or the lack of understanding. And the third is greed. It is what we project onto the face masks that reveal what we truly are. It is like a mirror reflecting our biases and limitations. Okay? But it is not just the face masks. We project the same poisons onto everything and every person around us. So such a reflection is a reminder of how we can be mindful of our defilements and cultivate ourselves to be a better human being. Okay? Nowadays, when we were told to use the face masks, we are seeing a different kind of problems. Millions of disposable masks are being thrown away daily, and that creates enormous environmental disaster that will surely last generations. There has been very little guidance on how to dispose or recycle them. At the same time, however, there are also many countries, and indeed many people in Canada too, who cannot afford such personal protection. So, in addition to the issues of discrimination and greed and environmental protection, there are also the problems of social inequality reflected from a deep look into the mask. I learned that multi-layer cloth masks that fit around the face well and made of water-resistant fabric should provide reasonable protection, especially when we are not visiting densely populated indoor environments. We could save the surgical masks for health professionals and reduce the waste by staying indoor and by trying our best to use the cloth masks, like the one made by the U of T that I just showed you earlier. And I remember that last summer, my wife and children were making some cloth masks to donate to the hospitals for the visitors. During a time when we are all under the impact of the virus, we do what we can to help each other. If we frame it within the Buddhist context, we can call it the practice of generosity or dana. But of course, we don't need to use the religious terminologies always. It's just a simple act of sharing. Okay? Sharing our resources and extending our love and compassion for other people. So mask wearing, from today's understanding, is a matter of personal and civic responsibility. That reminds me of the sign that I saw on the oxygen masks on the airplane that says that, there's usually a label, that says that in case of an emergency, put on your own mask first before assisting others. It's a simple teaching that we cannot help others unless we take care of ourselves first. Okay. We can also see this as a spirit of bodhisattvahood, which cultivates wisdom and compassion. That we take care of ourselves is wisdom, and that we serve and help others is compassion. What we can do during the pandemic, and especially during the lockdown, is to protect ourselves and to also equip ourselves well so that we can help other people and serve the community. And we can do so by engaging ourselves in physical exercises, to take healthy food, to maintain a balanced lifestyle, and last but not least, to engage ourselves in meditation. Okay. So in a single reflection, on the mask, we can see that we project a range of different views and understandings on it. It all depends on how we apply our mind. We can cultivate ourselves in the way we apply our mind. And that is precisely what meditation or contemplative practice means. Okay? And these practices are all like transcending religious boundaries. It's a way of inner transformation is a way of cultivating ourselves. Okay? So during the pandemic, we may see this as a good opportunity for us to pick up meditation as our new habit and to turn a negative situation into a positive one. Okay. So I'll close my sharing here. And I wish you all well and safe, and I hope that we could see each other in person very soon. Take care.